Last presenter for this evening is Rajini Padmanaban. She's the Senior Director of QA InfoTech. She leads the engagement for very strategic and very large accounts for QA InfoTech. She comes with about 14 years of rich experience, mostly in quality assurance. Without any further delay, want to hand it over to Rajini. Take it.
Dead hair and adds a permanent wave. So whether we have such a spray or not in our hand, now is that time where independent testing has to be revived. In fact, my story back from 2013 also still holds good, where the hare and tortoise were continuing to fight with each other, saying who's going to win. You know, the hare was fast. The second time around, the tortoise outdid the hare, adopting a smarter strategy. And towards the end, they realized that it's going to be fun and effective only when they collaborate. So they took the race one last time, where on land, the tortoise was on the hare. They ran really fast. And when they hit the river, the tortoise got onto the hare got onto the tortoise's back, and they crossed the river together. So that collaboration is still very, very important. But amidst all of that collaboration, let's please not lose our focus on independence, because that is our way forward, both for product as well as for our career as testers. So with that, thank you so much, and I'll open it up for questions.
Check.
Any questions at all?
For us too?
Yeah, a couple of minutes here.
Just an opinion. I'm a big supporter of independent testing. Have seen it growing and all, but again, my observations into next 20 years, crystal ball gazing, says the biggest enemy of independent testing is the term independent itself.
So which is where I'm saying, right? I mentioned your name as well, saying don't box yourself. Understand the value of independence.
No, I'm saying specifically, if we start saying that independent testing has to stay, it's going to have future. The more we emphasis on independence as a term, that is going to kill us.
See,
because I have seen the Agile and DevOps movement is saying there is no room for independent testing. There is no room for independent engineering or anything. It's all one team. Now, your point on testers working out of bias, you have to maintain independence from a subconscious or unconscious way. We shouldn't be explicitly keep saying it. And other thing that leads to is the moment you say independent, it leads to what is called as empire building. We have a different boss, different organization, different service line, different revenue. It conflicts with the way of writing, actually doing good testing. If you let go the term independent, do all that you have said, maybe in some other name, we will survive.
See, I see your point. I think, again, use of terms is a very subjective thing, which is where I'm not saying, again, independence is a stage or a condition. It's a range, right? You have to figure out where you fit in that particular range. So there the concern is whether we are moving from that range position 2 to 1. And that is where I also say there's the need for that balanced revival, because let's understand the pros, let's also understand the cons. And we set ourselves up for those cons when we initially evolved to be quote-unquote independent. So that is where I'm saying let's consciously make sure we don't completely merge. Maybe that will be a better term that you could relate to, resonate with. Let's not completely merge with developers. Let's maintain our unbiased coverage. That's the crux of the message. Well, I don't necessarily agree there, but again, it's subjective when it comes to jargon and nomenclature. Thank you, folks. Any other question?
Yeah, quick question, please.
I am Rajesh from Huawei Technologies. I have a question. One of the statistics mentioned 40% we are going to increase the cost of testing in IT budget. Does that mean that the whole IT competency is going down? We are going to spend 40% in unearthing the defects. So does mean quality assurance is going to go back?
Certainly IT efficiency is coming down. Why is it coming down? Because we as testers are pulling it down with so much being spent just on testing.
Is it testers' fault or is it the earlier phase?
It is to increasingly start with testers is my concern and my take on it. Saying we are taking up quite a bit of that chunk from the IT budget. So does that mean we are not innovating enough? Does that mean we are still spending a lot on the laborious manual processes? Does that mean we are still resource-centric and resource-heavy? So that is that call to introspection that I'm saying if this number is going to become 40% in 2018, then there's something wrong with the way we are operating, which means we're pulling down IT efficiency as well. So before we reach 40%, I'm saying let's go and introspect, let's see what has to be done. Okay?
Just add on is the other areas also should be looked upon. That's what I just thinking.
No, so that is where, see, an independent, again, a separate budget is important. In fact, one of the positives, if you see, that I had mentioned was having such a focus on a separate group of testers also gives us the funding, also gives us access to tools, technologies, infrastructure, resources, a niche focus. For all of that, a separate budget is very, very important. But the thing to introspect and see is this number is continuing to significantly rise. And if it is touching or going very close to almost a 50% mark, there are several other functions in the mix. So why is this happening? Why is it that we are taking more than 1/3 of the overall budget? That is the thing to watch out for. Whereas that money could have been productively used in several other areas to push the entire IT team forward.
I have a different perspective for that 40%, whatever you have quoted, because I have been closely watching the World Quality Report, which Rajini has presented yesterday. This is the third consecutive year that I have been observing. So 40% does not necessarily mean that the present expenses the spend is going to be 40%. Probably it also includes some of the organizations which are not laying emphasis on the QA and testing. They also will start looking at testing as an important service.
Agreed. That is a positive side of it. So which is where we said mixed emotions, right? This number growing at this rate, he has a very valid point. For example, Facebook, until a couple of years back, 3 years back, hardly had any quality spend. So it is also a positive way of looking at it, saying probably newer organizations, which have so far not focused on quality, are beginning to enter the quality space. So you have a very valid point out there. But the other way of also looking is, so this is 2015. Let's take even this simple thing, right? We projected it to be 29%, but it's turned out to be 36%, forecast to be 40%. So that is where we need to consider both what are the new entrants, what are the new variables that are pushing this number upward. So if we combine that, then we have more objective data to look forward and proceed.
And the best example to introspect is the Indian market. We have come from various organizations. How many of our companies are really doing testing for Indian organizations? There is hardly one or two might be there. The
Actually,
Indian organization spend might be only 5%, 10%. Probably that market is also looking at testing as an important aspect. So some part of the development total SDLC budget may get shifted to testing because of the new entrance of these players.
Agreed.
Okay, good points. I'll have to rush
Yep,
through.
definitely.
Rajini, but
Thank you so much. And
Pleasure.
hopefully
Big
it was a
round of
great
applause.
conference overall.